Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nocturnal Gaming Network. My name is Xeriua and today we are playing Space Agency. Today we are doing mission number 29, the ADS expansion. Now this is perhaps the hardest mission in the game, or at least in my opinion it might be, because we're doing multiple launches and we got lots of intricate movement to do and no checkpoints available. So let's check this out here. Now for our briefing, we must attach large solar panel, open solar panel, reattach sensor wing, attach solar panel, open solar panel, reattach sensor wing, attach control room module, dock the pod spacecraft, and our maximum budget is $150 million, and our maximum time is 40 minutes 0 seconds. The agency has decided to convert the ADS into a manned outpost. This mission will mark the beginning of that conversion process. We must add 2 solar panels and a control room module to the ADS core. And that's the control room module, by the way. And that's the pod. A new pod spacecraft also needs to be delivered to the ADS. The following schematic shows the required configuration. New parts are in red. So, basically, we currently have a resupply module and the core and the 2 wings. So we're going to have to launch the wings off, and we're going to have to insert the panels between the wings and the core itself, and then put the control room on the bottom, and it looks like put the pod on the top. So this is going to be a lot of movement here. For the gold award, we must complete the mission, spending $43 million or less in a time of 25 minutes 0 seconds or less. All right. Oh yes, most important objective, no checkpoints, because this one is quite difficult. So here we are. We are going to launch some rockets. Now to do this, I think we're going to need 3 rockets, and I'm just gonna check something out real quick. So if we put the Arianes 5 here, because we need to be cautious with our spending, and the tug module and the Ariane 5 boosters, yes, then maybe we can put the pod and a fairing on this thing, a Saturn V fairing, yep, and then put the heavy tug module and the control room module. Ooh, 57% escape. That's not going to be enough. Oh, 55. Okay, so if we're going to do this and we're going to pulse our ship out into orbit, we pretty much need 60% escape on the first stage of the rocket or more. Because if it's below 60, then we're probably not going to make it. We might get lucky, and we might make it once, but then it's not going to be consistent. So that said, I think we're just going to scrap this, because this control room module is extremely heavy. What we're going to do instead is we're going to use the black arrow first stage, and then we're going to put the large tug. Oh, we need a connector with the black arrow. My mistake. So connector, and then the medium stage tug, and then where I can never find it. Here's the control room module. And then I can put the Ariane 5 boosters, and that brings us to 61%. Wow, this thing is so heavy. But we are at 60, so that is a good, safe number here. So this rocket should do just fine getting us into space. So let's launch, and we'll go back, and we will build our second rocket. What do we want to use here? We're doing the pod. The pod is right here. So it is in fact a small module. Sort of. I don't think it'll fit in a small fairing. What do we need? We need the small tug module for the launch of the solar panels. So let's do the Mercury. Let's do a connector, and then a heavy tug, and we go to our payloads and put the pod in place, and then we can do our boosters. So we have 70% escape on this. Bam, 69%. So this one's ready. We're going on this one. This one right here will do just perfect. So what we need to do is launch the first module. So let's do that. Let's skip ahead, and about 4 seconds in,
3, 2,
I was worried that not all of our boosters were going to ignite, but they did at the last possible second. So we're just going to kind of do a little pulsing here, maybe get ourselves turning a little bit early, and just like that, we're ready to go. Oh, keep ourselves green, please. Thank you. We need the roll. Anytime now. Anytime. Thank you. Alright, so we're rolling. Rolling. Alright. And we can keep pulsing. We're still moving at a good clip. 61% escape, so we're close on this one. But if we keep with the small to medium pulses, and once we get ourselves right about not perpendicular, what am I saying? 45 degrees. Oh, and here are stars anyway, so we should be fine to just kind of keep pulsing. Just keep pulsing. There we are. Alright, and now we will split our rocket. And that. And that. Okay, so we need to go around one time here, and then we'll be free to head off to the ADS module. Now, I have to have multiple rockets going at once here, because if I don't think I'm ever going to make this time constraint. So let's launch ourselves, and we want to be down below the ADS module, because this one is going in at the bottom of the ADS module, so we just want to kind of get it out of the way, I think. I think that's all we need to do on this one. And we'll turn it and get it 180 degrees to our destination. There we are. We're at travel speed. We're ready to go. So when we get, what, halfway there, give or take? Something like that. 600 units. So if I get 500 units, like this, let's get to 500 units. And then no, we can't. We gotta wait longer on this one, because we're 300 units in between, give or take. So let's go here at 450. We'll launch this rocket and we'll back out. And we're going to build our final rocket here. We need 2 of the solar panels. So I think we can do this with a small stage rocket, but we'll see what happens when we get once we get our escape stuff. Once it's showing us how far we're going to raise this rocket. And we'll put our boosters on right now, so we've got an accurate reading. And we've put that in the large stage, and we're going to use the N1 payload fairing. And then we go back to our small stage. And what's going to happen here is, because the solar panel is so long, the booster stem will not fit into the payload fairing. So the way we're going to do this, we have to use the N1 fairing, because if you look, the Saturn V fairing does not allow attachable payloads, but the N1 does allow attachable payloads. So because of that, we can come and put a connector on top of the N1 fairing, the N1 payload fairing, and then put our small tug And our other solar panel, please. Thank you. And then last but not least, we need a long fairing. So we are 64%. We have 64% escape on this rocket, which means we should be good to escape with this one. And we'll go back and we'll launch. And at about 4 seconds, there we are. This rocket here is easy. There's nothing special about this one. We got it. Nice little Mercury here. We got the big boosters on it, big Long March boosters. And we're actually going to try and separate this one first, I think. Separate it before we get into orbit. And maybe, just maybe, we can end up hitting the ADS without going around the planet first. Let's try that out. Alright, so we are gonna just keep pulsing this rocket until we get it up into space. Pretty much once we get back down to 45 degrees in our roll gauge, we should be all set to just boost for the rest of the way. Here we are, ready to go. Once we see the stars, I'm gonna aim ourselves up and I'm gonna get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay, so we are in space. We're at a little bit lower angle than we should be, but now we're heading to ADS. Bam! And I'm actually gonna aim us pretty much right at the ADS. And I will turn us 180 degrees here. 180 degrees, and I'll get rid of my fairing and get us up to travel speed. Boom. So, we're 300 units from ADS, so I am actually going to slow this thing down. Like that. 302 units from ADS. So let's slow this one down as well. Boom. Okay, so 200 units from ADS. So I am going to launch my final rocket here. And let's go. Boom, boom, 5, 4, and we'll launch. And we're going. Once we clear the tower, we can start pulsing. We're up to speed. And we're ready to go. Yes, sir, we are ready to go. Gonna start rolling early. This is a nice big heavy rocket, so we want to get as much speed on it. Well, heavy and big for a small stage rocket. Alright, so we're starting our roll, which is fine. Just keep up with the roll, keep pulsing ourselves till we turn, and now we're pretty much okay. We'll pulse a little bit longer, but again, once we get to 45 degrees on our roll gauge, we should be set to just continue with our rocket. Continue boosting. Just boost all the way until we see stars. And then we'll get actually just a little bit outside of the 45 degrees. And here are the stars, and we will separate. We'll just kind of pulse a little bit. And there we are. We're perfect. We're wonderful. We're right where we need to be. And we'll zoom out, and we will hit the ADS. Bam! Perfect. Alright, so we're gonna rotate this around 180 degrees, and then we're gonna slow this one down also. I need to hurry up though, because I was 200 meters from ADS with my first rocket. Okay, so we slowed that one down. 160 meters from ADS, 89 meters from home. Okay, so we want the tug with the control room. This is fine. Where are we? Okay, so 300 meters from home and 125 meters from home. So I am going to actually speed the ADS, that up, and I will speed, oops, not that one, 92 from ADS. Let's speed this one up. Okay, so now 78 from ADS, we need to put on our brakes on this one. Alright, we're going to be down below ADS, and that's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we will slow this down. Alright, so right about here, we're just going to kind of lay on the thruster. Let ourselves slow down all the way. Yes. Alright, we'll turn this to something like that angle and check where we are. So near to ADS, 219 meters from ADS. So let's check on rocket number 3. We have 200 units, give or take, between our two rockets, which is perfect. That's just what we need. So I am going to... Where is this thing? It's going... Okay, it's going between the two modules, which is just fine. So I'm going to start slowing it down. And I'm going to slow it down like all the way here. 30 meters. 200 from ADS. Oops, wrong one. 197 from ADS. Still the wrong one. 25 from ADS. So, let's just slow this one down to like barely moving. And then 134 from ADS. Where is this one going to hit? Okay, so we are going to go between all of our modules. Yes, that is almost perfect, so we need to slow down, like, now. Alright. Here we go. So I want to stop. Oh, that couldn't have been better. That is so perfect. I am stopping right here. Alright, I'm actually going to move forward a teeny tiny bit because I do not want to accidentally hit something with a fairing. So we'll break that fairing, and we'll break this fairing. And now we've got two independent rockets. So let's rotate ourselves right about there. So that looks... That's not quite at the correct angle, but that's fine. This is fine. So we'll get this one moving to intercept that. Alright, so we need to check our module here. Ah, you've got all the fuel turned on. Alright, so what do we have for fuel? We have a little bit of fuel with this thing. So, boom. So now we're close. Right about there. That's perfect. So we are going to separate this, and we're going to move it around.
Thruster propellant low.
Okay. We need to get that in the correct location. And let's get this one moving too. And we can get rid of that fairing.
Start set.
Let's actually turn this one all the way around. Alright, so we are going to be pretty close right about here. So just a tiny bit
Thruster
more.
propellant low.
Yes, that is almost perfect. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh. There we go. So now I can rotate this. I need to get right on with my rotation of this one. That's not quite right. But let's eject that and get ready to catch it. So right here. Boom. Okay. Okay, so we're moving here. We've got this one. We can get this in place. I need to just let this move out. Let that one move. I can check on that. Okay, so the pod is ready. So I'm going to move the pod forward just a hair and eject that. Now I can eject this module. And boom. That's all set. Okay, so I'm going to start this rocket moving forward. There we are, ever so slowly. Come on. Thank you. What is this doing? Is it? Oh, it's just... I left the... I just left Both of these moving. Okay. uh, Alright, so right about here. Stop that. Alright, what is this one doing? Get it moving forward. Back to the correct location. Let's move the pod. And kind of move that back because I wasn't paying attention. Ooh, actually, do not move the pod. Stop the pod. I have another solar wing to be moving. Okay. We can do this, guys. I got it. I really do. I really got this, I think. Alright, so I am at roughly the correct orientation here. Just a little bit more, just like that. Okay, so this one can stop. And this, I can move it forward, and I'm just gonna stop it once I get to lined up. So I am lined up, so I'm gonna hit that. Okay, that's perfect. We will move this back into place now. Alright, and here is this. So we can go plug this in. And what are we doing here? Okay, so do I want to just let this go? Let's not. Let's be gentle with our stuff. Make sure we have no rotation. Yes, no rotation going on. Okay, so I'm going to let this go now. Actually, I am going to do it. Okay, and we can get our pod moving towards the ADS. Bam. And I want to check, are we moving? No, we are not moving. Okay, that's fine. We can get the pod going in the correct location, correct direction. There we go. So, while we are doing this, let's get both of these hooked up to everything. Okay, bam, bam. Alright, and we have just a tiny bit further to go with this pod. Want to make sure we rotate it so we are correctly aligned. Okay, just like one more second. Right there, and now we can plug this in. Need to go a teeny tiny bit further. There we are. Okay, so the ADS, let's put it back.
Docking successful.
Oh, stop. Okay. So now we are basically back where we need to be. Plug in the pod, turn on the solar panel, turn on, come on, please turn on this second solar panel. And we are done.
Mission complete.
We have completed the mission in 10 minutes, 9 seconds at a cost of 30.1. 30.1 or 30.15, I believe, $1 million. That was kind of stressful. I may be sweating a little bit, guys. But I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I was able to bring you a gold mission award for this one. This really, really difficult mission. Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Xeriua. This is the Nocturnal Gaming Network bringing you Space Agency. And when we come back, we will rescue the shuttle. Have a wonderful night, everyone.